Today, as we mark what would have been my beloved mother's 100th birthday, my family and I pause to reflect on the life and loss of a sovereign who meant so much to us all.
Friday, April 24th, 2026. Breaking news this morning, as a single half-second of leaked footage has effectively dismantled a multi-million-dollar public relations empire. We are looking at what experts are calling the most catastrophic collapse of a carefully curated image in modern royal history. It was 2:15 in the afternoon on April 15th, 2026, at the Sydney Children's Hospital in Australia. Outside, thousands were cheering for what was supposed to be a triumphant royal-style tour designed to prove that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex still hold global relevance. But inside the sterile corridors of the hospital, the mask did not just slip, it shattered. The footage, captured by a bystander and now circulating in high-definition slow motion, reveals a micro-interaction that has sent shockwaves through the Commonwealth. Sarah Fosmo, a highly respected professional and the Duchess's own Chief of Staff, a woman who previously managed high-stakes operations for the Gates Foundation, performs a standard professional duty. She leans in and lightly taps Prince Harry on the shoulder, pointing toward a balcony above where several patients were waiting for a glimpse of the visiting party. It was a gesture of competence, a simple act of coordination. But in less than 500 milliseconds, the camera catches the Duchess turning. The radiant, practiced smile she had been wearing for the crowd vanishes instantly. In its place is an expression so cold, and a stare so calculated, that it has been described by observers as an absolute weaponization of silence. The look involves a sharply arched eyebrow and a tightened jaw, a visual reprimand directed straight at Sarah Fosmo for the perceived transgression of touching the prince in public. According to a witness standing mere feet away, the Duchess did not say a word, but she did not have to. The air in the room reportedly turned to ice. One former staff member who watched the clip from London described the sensation of seeing that stare as a visceral trigger. They exclusively stated that watching the video gave them PTSD, claiming it was the exact same glare they received behind closed doors when they were not performing to an impossible standard. They described it as the secret side of a workplace psychopath who smiles for the cameras while treating those she has power over as totally disposable, like a tradesman hired to fix a toilet. If you are seeing the shift in narrative we are documenting today, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Your engagement ensures these dossiers continue to reach the public. Comment below with the word exposed if you believe the public deserves to see the full unedited bullying report from the palace archives. This is not just about one bad mood or a moment of stress. This is about a documented mechanism of control. The Australia trip was intended to be a proof of concept, a demonstration that the Sussex brand could operate as an alternative royal family. Instead, it has become a case study in institutional friction. While the Duchess is being filmed in Sydney, back in California, her team is preparing the launch of $64 candles named after her children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. The timing is precise, and some would say predatory. These products are hitting the market on the exact week of the late Queen Elizabeth II's 100th birthday. The contrast is staggering. While the King stands in New York performing a solemn duty of state, his daughter-in-law is caught on camera delivering a death stare to a senior aide, all while monetising the very royal titles she claims to have found oppressive. The data coming in this morning from Roy Morgan, one of Australia's most reputable polling firms, is a total obliteration of the Sussex narrative. Out of 1,767 Australians surveyed, 81% said the tour had not improved their opinion of the couple. Even more damaging, 75% flatly disagreed with the idea that the couple had been treated unfairly by the royal family. The grievance narrative, the very foundation of the Montecito operation, is dissolving in real time. As we move into this investigation, we have to ask, how does a brand survive when its primary export is compassion, but its primary internal reality is reported as fear? Why did a senior professional like Sarah Fosmo, who has navigated some of the most complex corporate environments in the world, find herself on the receiving end of a public humiliation? The answer lies in a pattern of behavior that dates back to 2018, a pattern that the palace has kept under lock and key until now. Stay with us, because the next segment of this file uncovers the specific legal mechanism that is about to force the release of the buried bullying dossier. The gates are closing, and the light is fading on the Sussex illusion. To understand the Sydney incident, we must dissect the internal management architecture known among former aides as the Sussex Protocol. This is not merely a case of a difficult boss having a bad day. It is a systematic three-step psychological operation designed to maintain absolute dominance over the environment. As of this Friday morning, April 24th, 2026, insiders are coming forward to explain exactly how this mechanism of control functions behind the closed doors of the Montecito office. The first phase is the establishment of monopoly. In the worldview of the Duchess, she is the sole proprietor of Prince Harry's image and physical proximity. When Sarah Fosmo leaned in to tap the prince's shoulder in Sydney, she was not just being a helpful chief of staff, she was violating the fundamental rule of the Sussex brand. No one directs or touches the Duke except the Duchess. Former staffers describe a culture where the prince is kept in a perpetual state of reliance by positioning herself as the only bridge between the Duke and his staff. She ensures that every piece of information and every physical interaction is filtered through her. When Sarah Fosmo bypassed that filter, she triggered an immediate defensive reflex. The second phase is non-verbal sanctioning, more commonly referred to by staff as the look. This is the core of the psychological weaponry. By utilizing a sharply arched eyebrow and an ice-cold death stare instead of verbal criticism, the Duchess achieves a devastating result without leaving a paper trail. There is no audio recording of a shout. There is no transcript of an insult. It is the perfect workplace transgression because it is impossible to report to human resources. As one former analyst put it, how do you explain to a mediator that your boss looked at you in a way that made you feel subhuman? This non-verbal punishment is calculated to humiliate the victim in real time, often in front of colleagues or, as we saw in Australia, in front of the international press, leaving the staffer feeling exposed and powerless. The third and most damaging phase is nullification. Once the optical reprimand has been delivered, the victim is subjected to a total professional icing out. In the hours following the Sydney hospital visit, sources claim Sarah Fosmo was treated as if she were invisible. This is not just a cold shoulder. It is a tactical erasure of a person's professional value. The Duchess reportedly stops responding to direct questions, redirects all eye contact, and speaks about the person in the third person as if they are not in the room. This phase is designed to make the victim feel disposable or, as the leaked reports state, like a tradesman who is only there to fix a toilet and should remain unseen once the task is done. The cumulative effect of this three-step mechanism is a state of acute institutional gaslighting. Highly skilled professionals, individuals who have run global departments and advised world leaders, find themselves spiraling into a state of self-doubt. They begin to obsess over their own movements, wondering if a simple gesture like pointing at a balcony will trigger another silent execution. This leads to the profound sense of workplace PTSD that is now being reported across the board. But as the sun rises in California this morning, the question is not just about how she controls her staff. It is about why this mechanism was intensified during a week meant to honor a century of royal service. Why would a brand built on the pillars of compassion and humanity utilize a management style that mirrors a tactical siege? The answer may be found in the looming financial deadlines facing the Montecito household and a desperate need to keep the Duke within a very specific controlled narrative. As we look closer at the documents surfaced by the latest investigative reports, a new and even more unsettling pattern is emerging regarding the true motive behind the $64 candles and the children's stolen nicknames. The psychological cage is not just for the staff. It may be for the legacy itself. The credibility of these allegations no longer rests on anonymous whispers or social media speculation. It is built upon a rigorous hierarchy of verified evidence, a staircase of authority that leads directly from the historic corridors of Kensington Palace to the modern boardrooms of Los Angeles. As of April 24, 2026, the narrative has shifted from he said, she said to a documented pattern of institutional failure. The first level of this authority staircase is the historical record, a foundation that dates back to October 2018. We are looking at the now infamous internal memo authored by Jason North, the then Communications Secretary for the Sussexes. In this high-level briefing sent to Prince William's office, North used language that was as precise as it was devastating. He stated that the Duchess seemed intent on always having someone in her sights. This was not a casual observation. It was a formal red flag raised by a senior executive who witnessed a pattern of staff members being targeted, undermined, and eventually driven out of their roles. 4 years. This memo was treated as an isolated incident. But the events in Sydney last week have transformed it into patient zero of a documented behavioural profile. Moving up the staircase to the second level, we find the institutional consensus of the American entertainment industry. In a bombshell report published just days ago in April 2026, The Hollywood Reporter, the industry bible for the global elite, reaffirmed a chilling nickname that has been circulating within the couple's California inner circle, the dictator in high heels. This is not the British press. This is the very industry Meghan Markle has attempted to conquer. The report leads with testimony from a high-ranking staffer that perfectly mirrors the Sydney footage. They describe a terrifying duality, stating, "She smiles to the public with one half of her face while glowering at you with the other half the moment she believes she is unobserved." This two-sided performance is described as a tactical weapon used to keep subordinates in a state of constant low-level panic, ensuring that no one feels secure enough to challenge her directives. The third and most critical level of this staircase is the current legal maneuvering taking place in London. As this video is being watched, senior partners at some of the United Kingdom's most prestigious law firms are scrutinising the legal architecture of the non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs, that have kept former Sussex staffers silent for nearly a decade. The central question is no longer about hurt feelings. It is about a legal concept known as psychological trauma exemptions. Lawyers are investigating whether a pattern of behavior that causes documented mental health injury can effectively nullify a standard confidentiality agreement. If the courts find that a workplace psychopathic environment constitutes a breach of the duty of care, the floodgates will open. We are talking about dozens of former aides from London to California who have spent years in forced silence, now potentially being granted the legal right to testify in a civil court of law. What we are witnessing is the dismantling of the Sussex Compassion brand by the very people who were hired to build it. The authority staircase shows a direct line from the early warnings in 2018 to the industry-wide condemnation of April 2026, and finally to the looming legal reckoning in London. The mechanism of fear is being met by the mechanism of the law. But as the legal teams prepare their cases, a more immediate and public crisis is unfolding at the intersection of royal duty and commercial greed. The $64 candles and the stolen nicknames were supposed to be a distraction, but they have instead provided the ultimate evidence of a brand that has lost its moral compass. The question is no longer if the dossier will be released, but how much damage it will do when the dictator in high heels is finally forced to face the people who were once in her sights. The investigation into the Sussex management style reveals a trail of discarded professionals that stretches across 2 continents and nearly a decade. This is not a series of isolated departures. It is a chronological map of institutional friction. To understand why the events of this week in April 2026 have triggered such a massive backlash, we must follow the digital breadcrumbs of what insiders call the revolving door of Montecito. The trail begins in October 2018, in the heat of a royal tour in Fiji. The Duchess was scheduled for a high-profile visit to a local market, an event intended to showcase her connection to the community. Instead, the engagement lasted a mere 6 minutes. Witnesses reported a sudden shift in atmosphere, a sharp icy glare directed at her security team, followed by an abrupt exit that left local organisers in a state of confusion and hurt. At the time, the official narrative blamed crowd management issues, but the reality behind the scenes was far more volatile. This was the first public glimpse of a pattern where the blame for logistical hiccups was shifted entirely onto staff, often with devastating consequences. Professional consequences. Fast forward to March 2021. The timing was surgical. Just days before the world-shaking Oprah Winfrey interview was set to air, Buckingham Palace made an unprecedented announcement. They were launching an official investigation into allegations of bullying made against the Duchess by her own former staff. The reaction from the Sussex camp was swift and aggressive, labelling the move a calculated smear campaign designed to distract from their truth. 4 years, that investigation remained a classified document, a dormant volcano in the royal archives. But the pressure was building, fueled by a continuous stream of high-profile exits in California. By September 2024, the revolving door was spinning at a frantic pace. The departure of Josh Kettler, a highly experienced chief of staff and former high-level executive, sent shockwaves through the industry. Josh Kettler lasted exactly 3 months. He was hired to guide the Duke and Duchess through their new era of global influence. Yet he vanished from the payroll before his 90-day probation had even concluded. He joined a growing list of nearly 20 senior aides who had walked away from the Sussex household since 2018. Each resignation carried the same unspoken message: the environment was unsustainable. This brings us to April 15, 2026, at the Sydney Children's Hospital. The death stare directed at Sarah Fosmo was not a new behaviour. It was a return to a documented historical form. It was the Fiji market incident, the Jason North memo, and the Josh Kettler resignation, all condensed into a single half-second of leaked footage. But this time, the world was watching in high definition. The most significant development, however, occurred just 48 hours ago, on April 22, 2026. Sources close to the Prince of Wales in London have confirmed that the climate has changed. Advisors to Prince William are reportedly considering a strategic unsealing of the original bullying report. The justification is no longer about family politics. It is about the protection of diplomatic integrity. As the Duke and Duchess continue to embark on faux royal tours using government-level staff, the palace believes it has a duty of care to warn potential employees about the documented risks of the environment. We are looking at a countdown. The timeline shows that every few years, the mask slips, a staffer is sacrificed, and a new PR campaign is launched to cover the tracks. But with the $64 candles hitting the market this week and the Sydney footage playing on a loop, the tracks are becoming impossible to hide. The trail of sacrificial lambs has finally led back to the source. The next move will not come from a tabloid, but from the legal desks of London, where the decision to release the full dossier is currently being weighed against the survival of the institution itself. What lies within those pages is reportedly so damaging that it could redefine the public's understanding of the word compassion forever. To understand the true magnitude of this crisis, we have to look past the $64 candles and the high-profile press releases. We have to look at the human cost, the invisible people who have spent the last 8 years operating within the shadow of the Sussex brand. As of today, April 24, 2026, the wall of silence is crumbling, and the testimonies emerging from the wreckage are as heartbreaking as they are clinical. One former personal assistant, speaking on the condition of absolute anonymity to protect their ongoing career, described the experience of working within the Montecito household as facing a relentless professional grinder. The testimony provided is hauntingly specific. They stated, "To her, you have no name. You have no value. You are just like a tradesman who has been called in to fix a broken toilet. Once the job is done, you are expected to vanish. If you linger, or worse, if you attempt to offer a professional opinion, you are met with a level of disdain that is impossible to describe to someone who has not felt it." This comparison to a plumber or a handyman is a recurring theme in these dossiers. The idea that world-class professionals are treated as disposable tools rather than strategic partners. There is a profound and disturbing dissonance at play here. While the Duchess sits in front of a microphone for her podcast, preaching about the importance of compassion, female empowerment, and the power of love, her internal reality is reportedly the exact opposite. Insiders point to a specific, jarring contrast. Meghan Markle is often seen wearing a delicate gold necklace inscribed with the names of her children, Archie and Lilibet. It is visual shorthand for motherhood and tenderness. Yet that same hand, wearing that same necklace, is the one that former staffers claim has been used to deliver dismissive gestures that crush the confidence of dozens of talented women. This is the weaponized empathy that analysts are now dissecting, a public brand built on kindness that serves as a shield for a private culture of reported psychological attrition. The data point that has effectively ended the debate comes from the most recent Roy Morgan poll out of Australia, finalised just yesterday. It is the nail in the coffin for the Sussex grievance narrative. According to the data, a staggering 75% of Australians, people who have just witnessed the death stare in Sydney firsthand, flatly disagree with the proposition that Harry and Meghan have been treated unfairly by the royal family. This number is catastrophic. It means that the central pillar of their brand, the idea that they are victims of a cruel, archaic institution, has been rejected by a statistically significant majority of a major Commonwealth nation. The public did not need a 300-page report to reach this conclusion. They saw the half-second clip at the Sydney Children's Hospital. They saw the look on Sarah Fosmo's face. They saw a senior professional, a woman who has managed global foundations, being reduced to a state of visible shock by a single glare. The invisible people are no longer invisible. Their pain has been validated by a global audience that can now see the mechanism of fear in high definition. As the sun sets over London and the King prepares to return from his historic New York mission, the contrast between the two royal operations is no longer a matter of opinion. It is a matter of documented record. On one side, we have a monarch honouring a century of service. On the other, a brand struggling to explain why 75% of the public sees through their mask. But as the legal teams in California and London begin their final preparations, an even more explosive document is beginning to surface. One that involves the true financial state of the Montecito household and a desperate move that may have just backfired in the most public way possible. What happened in the final hours of the New York visit that has the Sussex legal team in a state of total emergency? The answer lies in a single unauthorized phone call made to a high-ranking official at the United Nations. As we analyze the fallout on this Friday morning, April 24th, 2026, the road ahead for the Sussex brand appears to have hit a definitive dead end. The death stare at the Sydney Children's Hospital was not just a lapse in judgment. It was a self-inflicted wound to the heart of their global credibility. Based on the documented history of the institution and the current legal climate in both London and Washington, we can now map out three distinct scenarios for how this crisis will conclude. In the first and most volatile scenario, Sarah Fosmo decides to take the ultimate professional risk. As a woman with an impeccable record at the Gates Foundation, she has the resources and the reputation to challenge her non-disclosure agreement in a United States court. If she files a formal civil lawsuit alleging a hostile work environment and psychological attrition, it would be the nuclear option. A public trial would force the unsealing of every internal communication and every witness statement from the last 8 years. For the Duchess, this would signify the total and permanent end of any political or high-level philanthropic ambitions in America. You cannot lead a movement for compassion while being cross-examined on the documented trauma of your subordinates. A second, more moderate scenario involves a desperate PR counteroffensive. We may see an official statement claiming that the Sydney footage was selectively slowed down or manipulated by hostile actors to create a false narrative. However, the damage in Hollywood is already done. The elite circles of Los Angeles and New York are notoriously sensitive to the toxic label. To avoid being associated with an embattled brand, the industry's A-list will quietly begin removing the Sussexes from VIP guest lists and gala invitations. They will find themselves isolated, not by a formal decree, but by the cold, calculated distancing of the very people they sacrificed their royal status to join. However, the most realistic scenario, according to high-level sources within the diplomatic community, is what is being called the institutional purge. Buckingham Palace will likely maintain its policy of public silence, but behind the scenes, the cord has been cut. Moving forward, any international travel by the Duke and Duchess will be stripped of its faux royal status. No more coordination with the Foreign Office. No more official diplomatic liaison. They will be forced to operate entirely as private citizens, hiring their own security and support staff from the open market. Without the protection and prestige of the institution, these private hires, who have no historical loyalty to the crown, will likely continue the 90-day revolving door of resignations, further solidifying the narrative of an impossible workplace. The death stare in Sydney did not just target Sarah Fosmo. It targeted the very future of the Sussex illusion. When you spend years and millions of dollars constructing a brand based on empathy, only to reveal a flash of reported cruelty in half a second of high-definition footage, you sign the death warrant for your own prestige. The question is no longer about PR strategies or candle sales. The question is this: if she is willing to publicly reprimand a senior professional in front of a global audience, what has truly been happening behind the closed doors of Montecito for the last 8 years? The gates of the institution are not just closed. They are welded shut. As the King returns to London, the era of the half-in, half-out royal model is officially over. If you found this investigation vital to understanding the reality behind the headlines, please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated on this developing dossier. Your support allows us to continue bringing you the facts that the PR machines want to hide. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on the institutional purge. Is it time for the palace to release the full report? Or should the silence continue? We will be monitoring the situation closely as more staffers prepare to speak.